Recognise that linear functions can be arranged to give y explicitly in terms of x. The lesson. We need to remember here that the equation of a straight line is y equals mx plus c, where m is the gradient of the line and c is the y-intercept. Example. We are given the equation of a line y plus 3x minus 2 equals 0 and asked to rearrange it into the form y equals mx plus c. We want to give y explicitly in terms of x. This means we want to find y on its own. For this to happen, all of this needs to balance so that it is on the other side of the equals sign. We do this by finding the inverse. We need to subtract 3x. Taking 3x from both sides, we end up with y minus 2 equals minus 3x. 0 minus 3x is minus 3x. We are now left with this minus 2 on this side of the equals sign. To remove it from this side, we need to add 2 to both sides. Adding 2 to both sides, we get y equals 2 minus 3x, or we can write it as y equals minus 3x plus 2. This means we have a gradient of minus 3 and a y-intercept of plus 2. Example 2. This time we are given the equation 2y plus 4x equals 2. Give y explicitly in terms of x. Firstly, we need to balance the equation so that 4x is no longer on this side. To get rid of 4x, we need to subtract 4x from both sides. This leaves us 2y equals 2 minus 4x. We now have a different problem to work out. The y term is now on its own on this side of the equation, but it is 2y, and we need just 1y as the equation of a line is y equals mx plus c. To balance this, we need to divide both sides of the equation by 2 to get 1y. Dividing both sides by 2, 2y divided by 2 is 1y. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and minus 4x divided by 2 gives minus 2x. We end up with the equation y equals 1 minus 2x, which can also be written as y equals minus 2x plus 1. So we have a gradient of minus 2 and a y-intercept of plus 1. Example 3. Now we need to rearrange 3y minus x equals minus 6 to give y explicitly in terms of x. Our first step is to get rid of this minus x from this side of the equation. We do this by adding x to both sides. This gives us 3y equals minus 6 plus x. Because we have 3y and we only want 1y, we need to divide both sides by 3. This gives 1y equals minus 6 divided by 3 is minus 2, plus x divided by 3 gives x over 3. Or you can write it as 1/3 x. This can also be rearranged and written as y equals 1/3 x minus 2. 1 over 3, 1/3 is the gradient, minus 2 is the y-intercept.